What's up, guys? Big Papa Drock back with another Raid Shadow Legends video. And as always, hope you are having a wonderful day. And guys, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, Drock, how are you making this Swarmspeaker ZYCLIC showcase video when you didn't pull Swarmspeaker ZYCLIC the other day in your Prism Shard summoning video? Well, it's a crazy thing, guys. We all saw me get owned, or probably, I don't want to say hopefully you saw me get owned, but if you watched that video, you saw me get owned. And sometimes off camera, your boy just has to say, no, I am not gonna not get this champion that I wailed for. I am going to continue to wail to get this champion. And so I purchased a couple additional Prism Shard packs, maybe four, but who's counting? And finally got my ZYCLIC. So today we're building him. We're going to test him out. We're going to see if all that wailing was actually worth it. God, I hope so, right? So anyway, let's a lesson here, guys. One, never pull your shards on camera. It always goes poorly. And two, never stop wailing if you want to get the champion that you love. It's the only way, as we've seen in my FINA videos previously, and we didn't see in my ZYCLIC, but you can imagine. So let's take a look at this champion and why I wanted him so badly. He is a Dark Elf's attack champion. Take a look at the skills, the A1. He is the faction unity champion, by the way. So we got the A1 Chitin Cutter, attacks one enemy, has a 75% chance of stealing one random buff from the target. This effect cannot be resisted or blocked. Now, always remember, cannot be blocked does not apply to Stone Skin. Does this make any sense from a wording perspective? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. But it's the same problem with Quintus. So this should be an incredible A1 in that it should steal Stone Skin if someone had Stone Skin and only Stone Skin, but it is not guaranteed to do so because of the way Stone Skin works. So just remember that. The A2, Ravening Multitude, attacks one enemy. Grants an extra turn if this attack kills an enemy. If the initial target survives, places an extra hit on all enemies. So it functions as an AoE, books down to 3-turn cooldown. Getting an extra turn if you kill someone, that's awesome. Super good. The A3, Insectoid Feast, attack one enemy 2 times. The damage inflicted by the skill increases by 10% each time an enemy receives a debuff. The damage increase resets each time this skill is used. And then this is his faction unity ability. Dark Elves Unity. One faction ally. Each time an enemy is killed by the skill permanently increases this champion's attack by 30% up to 120%. That's pretty nuts. 2 faction allies on the team. If the target was killed by this skill, resets the cooldown of the skill and fills this champion's turn meter by 50%. Okay, I like where we're going here. And then 3 faction allies has a 50% chance to attack an enemy with this skill whenever that enemy attempts to place a buff, can occur once per skill. I mean, look, sounds pretty damn good, right? Sounds pretty damn good. It's not an AoE, but some really cool effects there. Of course, you have to have other Dark Elves on the team in order to get them. So not bad for an A3, not bad. But let's get to the real reason why I wanted this champion, and that is the passive. Swarm Conductor will ignore 12% of each target's defense if they have no buffs. Okay, cool. That's awesome. Let's look at the actual unity aspect of this. If you have one Dark Elves faction ally, allies receive 15% less damage from enemies that have any buffs. Allies receive 30% less damage from enemies that have no buffs. So that's pretty cool. He's helping your team stay alive. 2 faction allies, when this champion or an ally removes or steals a buff from an enemy, this champion's next skill will deal 50% more damage. All right, damn, now we're cooking. That's pretty good. So we can really max his damage out there. And then here is the piece de la resistance of this champion's kit. 3 faction allies at the start of each round places a block, buff, debuff on all enemies for 1 turn. This debuff cannot be resisted. Here's the thing about this, guys. That block buffs goes on before any of your enemies' buffs go on, including Stone Skin. So you can literally prevent your enemy team from getting any Stone Skin with this champion, provided you have 3 faction allies on your team. And that, unfortunately, is the worst part of this champion's kit, because the biggest thing that holds this champion back and why you don't see him more often, he's also got an ally speed aura and then ally accuracy for Dark Elves. But the biggest reason you don't see this champion used all the time is, for lack of a better word, the Dark Elves faction is dog shit. The vast majority of these champions are not good, at least for arena purposes, or frankly, hard to make work with certain auras. There isn't a great speed champion in Dark Elves. Your best speed aura is Astrolith at 28% for arena. Still not even a 30% aura. And Astrolith is a power crept champion like crazy. Like, that is the number one thing that holds Swarmspeaker ZYCLIC back, is this faction sucks. Now, I wanted this champion specifically for Faction Wars because I really hate this Faction Wars Crypt 2 on hard. But it's just a shame, because I think if you had a couple of better champions in here, he could really, really, really shine. Let's talk about relics. I've got him in a Cat's Gaze. Surprise, surprise. He's a damage dealer. This makes the most sense. You know, I'm not even going to cover the other stuff. You can put him in a Wand of Submission if you want, but frankly, Cat's Gaze if you're trying to get him to do damage, which is what I'm trying to get him to do. So that's what we're rolling with here. We went over the skills. Let's talk about the blessing. Lightning Cage, my friends. Lightning Cage, baby. I've only got him 2 stars, which really hurts in terms of getting more stats on him. But I want Lightning Cage because I've got him built in Stone Skin and Savage, and I do not want him getting stripped. I need him to stay alive. I want to make sure that happens, so he gets all that fun stuff popping. And we're going to talk about the best ways to build him. I think what's interesting about this champion is the best way to build him maybe isn't even for damage. But Lightning Cage, that's how I'm rolling. Could you do other stuff? Sure. You could do Polymorph if you have a 6-star. You could do Life Harvest. You know, you can do other things if you're not using him in arena. But realistically, this is meant to be an arena champion, in my opinion. I think that's where he's going to get most of his use. And I do think that Lightning Cage makes the most sense. Take a look at the masteries. I've gone a very different way here than probably most would. The offense is normal. This is all normal, like it always is. It's, you know, Helm Smasher. I've gone Ruthless Ambush because I do want him to do as much damage as possible. And you'll see why in a minute when I look at the teams that I've built to use him. But I've actually gone support. Now, I think most people would say, hey, go defense, go down the normal defense stuff, get your, you know, counterattack, your retribution. But I specifically went support because I want Master Hexer. And the whole reason I want Master Hexer is I want those block buffs, debuffs, to have a chance to be up for 2 turns, just in case I don't wipe somebody's team. Of course, they can be cleansed off, but I think it is worth it, at least in my head, to get Master Hexer. You also can get Ore Steel, which gives you a little bit of bonus, you know, crit damage, stuff like that, depending on how you have them built. And then also Arcane Celerity, which can increase his turn meter when those debuffs do expire or get removed. But I want Master Hexer. That's how I've rolled. I think the most important thing is get the offense. You absolutely could do defense, but I really want Master Hexer, and that's why I've done that. Let's look at how you build him. Actually, let's quickly talk about gemstones. I've got him with an Invigorated here because I want an increased turn meter. I want him to go on a fast team before anybody has a chance to cleanse so that everyone can get killed. I pulled this off my Siegfried. These other gems don't really matter. You want the standard stuff here. If you've got them on a Cat's Gaze, you know, get your highest damage, you know, triangle gem that you possibly can get. One of the mythical ones or one of the legendary ones. And then for me, I want Invigorated because I'm having him go fast. So standard stuff, nothing crazy. Let's talk about how to build him. All right. There are, in my opinion, 2 schools of thoughts, 2 schools of thoughts, 2 different ways that I think make the most sense to build him. The first is your typical nuker, Stone Skin Savage, Stone Skin Lethal. I do have him built very fast, 300 speed. I honestly really wish he were more like 320, 330. I just can't get there without really nuking his damage without him having a full soul. So he does have good speed. He's got 308% crit damage. Like, this is a solid build for a non-fully awakened champion. We've also got 7,200 attack, right? And this is in Stone Skin and Savage. The other way that I think you can build him that honestly might be frankly better, depending on how you're building your team, is if you build him in entirely pinpoint and reaction gear. And the reason why I would suggest this potentially is one, he's not going to be your main damage dealer in this kind of build. You're just going to use him to specifically strip Stone Skin or prevent it from ever getting put up. And you want him in reaction. So if someone's running something like a Hegemon or whatever else, and they try to kill him, he lives. So this would be the other build, would be a full pinpoint, still relatively fast, still doing damage, but this is not like your main damage dealing build for this champion. So we're going to test him with the other, but I do think that there is a use case for building him like this, depending on the other champions you're using him with. And again, the whole reason to have him in pinpoint, polymorph. You just don't want to get polymorphed. It's still everywhere in the arena. You don't want to get polymorphed. That's like the one thing that can really screw his entire kit up and also prevent you from preventing those Stone Skin buffs from being placed. So two different ways to build him. Could you build him in Merciless? Sure, you could. But I want the survivability of the Savage, and that's how we've gone. And then just to show you the pieces quickly, this is like I pulled my best gear off of some of my champions to get him into this while still having him fast. So we do have some pretty damn good gear on him. Lots of crit rate, crit damage, speed, attack percentage. You're going probably speed and attack percentage and crit damage down here. And then I've got an attack banner with some speed, some crit damage, some Stone Skin stuff. So definitely my overall best gear in this faction. My Dark Elf's like accessories are pretty meh, but it is what it is. So that's how you build him. That's how I've got him set up. Let's take him into Dragon. Let's just do a quick test of what he does damage-wise. Like, what does he do on his own when he's in Dragon? Go into normal, go into stage 23. We're going to test him with no allies, and then we're going to test him with more allies. So let's start with just give him an Arbiter for damage, and then we'll give him a Lydia, and we'll give him just him. How about that? And we'll just start with your classic damage test here. Let's see what he does by himself. No help. All right, increase attack, decrease defense. Now, actually, Lydia is a Dark Elves champion, so we are boosting his damage technically if we kill somebody, but we're not getting anything else beyond that. And frankly, we're not worried about that right now. So let's start with the A2. This is the one that if it kills somebody, he gets an extra turn. If he doesn't kill someone, he gets an AoE. All right, for a single hitter, not incredible, not like super awesome by any stretch of the imagination. I would say that's like decent. This isn't a super high-end build either in terms of like having the soul and having more crit damage. So I would say that's decent. That's like not bad. We do get the extra turn here, which is cool. So we can go ahead and go straight into the AoE, and we're going to increase his attack after we do this. And let's just see here. Damage increases. Everyone receives a debuff, so we're going to get 20% damage increase. Let's see what it does here. Okay. that was pretty underwhelming. I'm not going to lie to you. Now we did give him a damage increase, so let's see what he does with his A1 with that damage increase. Right? We got the A1 back now. We just gave him some more attack. He got 30% more attack there because we killed somebody. So let's see what the A1 does with some more attack. 236. Okay. I mean, look, it's okay. It's, it's not incredible. We're not like jumping for joy with those numbers. I what can I say? I'm not super jazzed about what I just saw. But we'll take him back in and we'll see if he does any better. All right, my internet completely dropped in the middle of this testing, but we're back and we're going to put some more Dark Elves on the team. So let's get some more Dark Elves on here. Let's boost. Why did I just type in Dark Elves? Jesus. Let's go to the Dark Elves faction and get some more Dark Elves on here. And we'll just throw Aphidus in here and we'll throw Mithralis. We're going to do all 3 Dark Elves plus Arbiter. And let's see what he does with a triple Dark Elf stack. The triple Dark Elf, what we get in Arena. All right. Getting out the debuffs. I think he goes next. He does. So let's just take a look here. 3 allies, target was killed, resets, 50% to attack an enemy with a skill, and on the times buff. That doesn't help us. We get extra damage though, don't we, or not? No, but we did place the block buffs up there. So you do see that we placed the block buffs. So hey, at least that works. So there's really no point in me testing it with more dark elves. This is why you got to remember what the hell the kit says. But that's okay. We can test again. We'll start with the A3 this time and see what we do damage wise. That's just really not a good hitting ability. Good Lord. I'm not going to put the hex up because I don't want to increase damage. That ability really does not hit hard. At A3 is kind of meh. Let's try the A2 again, though, now that we got the attack increase. Now we see some damage coming out. So that attack increase is big on that A2. That was a lot better than last time. And then we go back into the A3, we get the extra turn. Try the A3 now. Double hit, okay. It's just okay. The A3 is just okay. It really serves to like boost his damage more than anything else. Look, as a damage dealer on his own, he's just all right. Like I'm not seeing anything incredible here. And that's why I feel like in some ways it does make sense to build him in pinpoint and build him with a reaction and to use other champions in the Dark Elves faction that do more damage, which is what we're going to do in this arena test, assuming my game actually can load because it looks like it's crashing again. So bear with me here. You won't see this next part because I'm going to cut it out, but internet problems, folks. What can you say? All right, my internet's working again. Let's take him into Platinum Arena and let's show you some of the teams you can use him with that I think would make him incredible. Again, the biggest problem with this champion is the Dark Elves faction is really not good. So Swarmspeaker ZYCLIC, he does have a speed aura, but it's a really bad one. We are going to use him as our speed. Now, your best options for speed in the Dark Elves faction are either Lanicus or Tremeria. Lanicus is the fastest one that I have, so we're going to roll Lanicus. She also has a better turn meter boost, 30% turn meter boost on an ally attack. Now, we're going to roll Lydia because I want to block revive. I want to block people's revives using Lydia. And then our damage dealer is going to be Queen Ava. So this is one of the teams that I was thinking of. You could also do Astrolith instead of hypothetically Lydia, but then you don't get the block revive. You could do Mithrala as well to increase attack. Mithrala, absolutely someone you could put in here instead of Lydia. If you have a high enough damage dealing ZYCLIC, you could certainly try to get rid of the Queen Ava, but then you need that speed aura, right, to go first. Who are you going to pick? Tremeria is one option. Again, Astrolith could be a damage dealer, I guess, so you could use him with Astrolith, but we're going to use this team first. Okay, we're loading in again. I am having insane internet problems. So look right there. Block buffs up on everybody. No stone skin at all. Praise the Lord. Now, I would love to be able to put this increased attack up, but I need to make sure I get the speed boost. I guess technically I don't really need it right here. I might be fast enough, but maybe not. So let's not take a chance. Let's go right into the ally attack turn meter boost of Lanicus. Turn meter boost. Okay, Queen Ava puts him down. That's great. Now we put out some debuffs. And this is where it gets ideal. We just literally hopefully kill everybody. Nope, we didn't get everybody. That's okay. I think they had an aspect of Sarath, it looks like, on both of them. What is the harder hitting one? I think we can do this. So we can just pop here. We kill there. We get the extra turn. Block revive. Everybody dies. So you can, I mean, look, Dark Elves, if Dark Elves were better, this guy would be legitimately phenomenal because of the ability to put up the block buffs and keep people out of stone skin. That by itself is worth its weight in gold. He might be better if I had a +4 version with more damage, you'd have a little bit better viability, or hypothetically using an Astrolith. But I want that Queen Ava because I need her damage. I need her damage to make this team work. If I don't have her damage, it doesn't work. Okay, this is the 4th time I have recorded this video now. No joke. I had internet issues the first time. Then I recorded it and it crashed. My computer crashed, which corrupted the file. Then I recorded it again and I accidentally turned my mic off and no sound got picked up. So this is going to be super short because guys, it's really hard for me to do videos nowadays and talk for more than like 15, 20 minutes at a time. This is the second day of me trying to do this video. And I'm like so pissed right now because of how many freaking issues I've had. This is a very real, raw look into the editing, recording process for Raid Shadow Legends, especially when you have medical stuff going on that makes it hard to talk, hard to breathe, and hard to do stuff. But I want to finish this video and I really want to show you this one thing that I discovered 3 different times previously. And now hopefully this will be the recording that actually works. But I changed my Lanicus build to give her Chrono Cube so she can go twice. But the thing that I discovered with Swarmspeaker Zaharis is how he works against Feral. And that is he doesn't. And I'm frankly so disappointed. This Theodosia has Feral and Stoneskin, but because she has Feral, he does not place a block buff. This is stupid. And it's one of the things that pisses me off about Raid Shadow Legends more than anything, which is a lack of consistency as to how stuff works in the game. In what world logically would you think that a champion that places a block buffs debuff before champions place Stoneskin buffs would somehow not get that same buff, that same debuff up before a Feral? It doesn't make sense. And to be completely honest with you, it absolutely nerfs the living crap out of his value. His value goes down super hardcore by not being able to get up a another like, you know, debuff, block debuff on Feral champions. Think about how many champions nowadays have Feral. Tons of champions have Feral, and he does not counter it. I am so disappointed by this. I'm just like, why? What is the point? He's already super nerfed as a champion by the fact that you have to use him with Dark Elves, right? A terrible faction that has a lot of really bad champions, specifically for Arena. And again, this is an Arena champ. So why is there not consistency in him putting up block buffs or block debuffs, I should say, or block buffs, excuse me. I've said block debuffs, block buffs. Why is there no consistency there? You already have Polymorph to counter that. In what world do you not give him that ability? It certainly makes me question whaling for him, to be completely honest for you. It's not honest with you. It's not that he doesn't have use cases. He absolutely does. Certainly he still has value. He's great in faction wars, I'm sure. But man, oh man, oh man, what a omega nerf to not have him work that way against Feral. What can I say? I'm flabbergasted that that's how that goes. Just absolutely flabbergasted. Never in a million years thought that would be the case. Yeah, super glad I kept testing him for the 4th time to be able to share that with you, because it is not something that I expected. I definitely did not think, I'm like, okay, it works against, it works against Stoneskin. Surely it will work against Feral, but no. If somebody has Feral on the team or maybe even immunity, he does not place those block buffs. Man, what a bummer. What an absolute bummer to see, because it really removes so much of his utility. Again, he's already handicapped by having to use Dark Elves champions. So why would you not have that consistency there? It's disappointing to say the least. And like I said, it totally changes my opinion of the champion. If he countered Feral the way he counters Stoneskin, which he frankly should, in my opinion, then I think he's a champion worth whaling for. He's still situational. He's still handicapped by the cast around him, but at least he has value, because otherwise he's just a mediocre damage dealer. He's not an elite damage dealer. He's hard to get because he's a faction unity champion, and his best ability requires all 3 faction allies, whereas some other champions get a lot of value out of 1 or 2. He just doesn't get a ton. So super disappointing conclusion to this video. Thank you for sticking around if you watched the entire thing, in spite of all the internet issues and cuts, and you didn't see all these videos I just recorded. I've recorded literally 30 minutes of this video multiple times. So I'm at the breaking point of what I can do physically right now, unfortunately. This is why I can't stream. It's just so hard for me to talk for more than like 15 to 20 minutes, maybe 30 minutes at most at a time, it causes a lot of issues. It's making creating content a lot harder for me, which is why you're not seeing as much content from me as consistently. Pray that I can find a way to get better because they still don't know what's going on. It's super frustrating. But anyway, I'm glad that I got him from the perspective of Faction Wars. I'm glad I got to do a showcase on him, even if it was a little abridged and a little bit scuffed. I'm certainly disappointed that he works the way he works. Plarium, if you see this video, are you going to change this? I highly doubt it. And even if you did, it probably would take years. But frankly, he needs to counter Feral. That's the whole point of having the champion, is that he prevents you from putting buffs up. So in what world should you be able to get a Feral buff up if you can't get a Stone Skin buff up? It just does not logically make sense to me at all. And again, that lack of consistency, maddening, absolutely maddening. So disappointing conclusion. He's still on my team. You know, we'll see if we can get some use out of him in situational areas in the future. You know, maybe I'll find some all Stone Skin teams where he really works hard. Maybe they introduce some more Dark Elves that are better champions. But at the very least, he will help me in Faction Wars. So, guys, if you made it to the end of the video, thank you so much for watching. Really appreciate the support, all the wonderful comments encouraging me about my weight loss, the wonderful comments encouraging me about the computer sponsorship that I got for iBuyPower, which is truly a dream come true for a small content creator like me. I still can't believe that actually happened. And that's been in discussion for a long time. So the fact that it actually happened and I got a custom PC is just so completely unreal. And that frankly doesn't happen without you guys. I just wanted to take a moment and just say thanks. Thanks for supporting me through the medical stuff. Thanks for supporting me in this channel through, you know, all the different ups and downs in content and raid over the last several years. It really means the world, especially as I'm dealing with all of this health stuff that is preventing me from doing what I love, which is entertaining you. And it really is. I want to stream so badly, and I can't even get through 30 minutes of recording this video, which is so disappointing. But like, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Just really appreciate it. So thank you guys so much. I'll catch you on a video soon. If you pulled a Swarmspeaker ZYCLIC recently, let me know in the comments down below if you are happy about it. If you knew about the Feral thing not working, I certainly didn't. I had no clue. And what you think of him after this showcase. And obviously, if you didn't pull him, you can still let me know what you think as well. All right, guys, have a wonderful rest of your day. I'll catch you in a video soon. Big Papa Drock, out.